Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shilva Meyshi Kurnia Putri. I'm from class 331A01. My ID student is 3321016. This is my video recording final test project 2 pronunciation drill. Part 1. Read this story correctly. Baby caterpillar was tired. All summer long, she had been traveling slowly through the green world where she lived, and feeding on the green leaf that grew near her home. Now autumn had come, and Mother Nature had given a holiday to the leaf, who put on their new dresses of red and gold and play tag with the breezes. Baby caterpillar wanted to play too, but could not run so fast as the happy little leaf, and she grew very tired and thought she would take a nap. So she found a cozy place among the branches of a grapevine and made herself a soft, silky blanket. Then she rolled herself away within it, and then in her quiet little cradle went to sleep. One night, late in the fall, Jack Frost came over the hill. He spied the cradle swinging to and fro, and began to play roughly with it. For he has a roguish little fellow, and touches everything that comes in his way. But the warm blanket hid and little slipper so that Jack could not find her. By and by King Winter came, bringing beautiful snow blanket to Mother Nature's flower the babies. He gently rocked the cradle as he passed and whispered, "Sleep, baby, sleep. You have no need of my blanket." At last spring came with the sunbeams, the best and merriest of Mother Nature's helpers. They awoke the flowers from their long winter nap, and called to the birds, and the brooks began their song. When they came to the little brown cradle, they stopped to rest, and baby caterpillar began to get very warm under the thick blanket. She woke up and stretched herself, and her cradle broke, and she came out to greet the spring. But what a change! Instead of the old dingy dress that she went to sleep in, she now had a beautiful yellow one, and instead of crawling among the leaves, she flew up and away into the sweet spring air to play with the sunbeams and flowers, and the little children called her a butterfly. Part 2. Read this poem correctly. Billet does not rhyme with ballet. Bouquet, wallet, mallet, collet. Bloat and float are not like food, nor is mouth like short and wool. Viscous, viscon, load, and broad. Toward, to forward, to reward. And your pronunciation's okay when you correctly say crooked, rounded, wounded, grief, and sieve, friend and fame, alive and life. EV, 3V, famous clamor, and enamour rhyme with hammer. river, rival, tomb, bomb, comb, doll and roll, and some and home. Stranger does not rhyme with anger, neither does devour with clangor. Souls but foul, hound but aunt. Font, front, want, grand and grant. Shoes, goes, does, no, now, first say finger. And then singer, ginger, linger. Real, zeal, mouth, ghost, gouge, and gouge. Marriage, foliage, mirage, and age. Query does not rhyme with fairy, nor does fairy sound like bury. Does, lost, post, and dot, cloth, cloth. Job, knob, bosom, transom, oath. Though the differences seem little, we say actual but fictual. River does not rhyme with diver. Plover, dust, and zipper, heifer. Mint, pint, sonnet, and sedate. Dull, ball, and George ate late. Scenic, Arabic, Pacific. Saints, conscience, scientific. Liberty, library, have and heaven. Rachel, egg, mustache, 11. We say hello, but allowed. People, leopard, toad, but forward. Mark the differences moreover between mover, cover, clover. Leases, branches, with prices. Calice, but police and lease. Camel, constable, unstable. Principal, disciple, label. Petal, panel, and canal. Wait, surprise, late, promise, pow. War and storm, chaos and chaos. Chair, senator, spectator, mayor. Tour, but hour and succor. 4. Gas, Alas, and Arkansas. Sea, idea, Korea, area. Paslum, Maria but malaria. Youth, south, Sotum, claims, and claim. Doctrine, turpentine, Marian. Compare alien with Italian, dandelion and battalion. Sally with Ellie, yeah, yeah. I, a, we, and key. Say ever, but ever, favor. Nature, leisure, skin, decipher. Heron, granary, canary. Sacrifice and device and airy. Part 3. How much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would as much as he could and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. How much wood a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would as much as he could and chuck as much wood as woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. How much wood a woodchuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would as much he could and chuck as much wood as woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Number 2. Can you can a cannot can into an cannot can like a canner can a cannot can into an cannot can. Can you can a cannot can into an cannot can like a canner can a cannot can into an cannot can. Can you can a cannot can into an cannot can like a canner can a cannot can into an cannot can. Number 3. Silly Sally swiftly showed 7 silly sheep. The 7 silly sheep silly Sally showed. Silly Sally showed the sheep shouldn't sleep in the shack. Sheep should sleep in the shed. Silly Sally swiftly showed 7 silly sheep. The 7 silly sheep silly Sally showed. Silly Sally showed the sheep shouldn't sleep in the shack. Sheep should sleep in the shed. Silly Sally swiftly showed 7 silly sheep. The 7 silly sheep silly Sally showed. Silly Sally showed the silly sheep shouldn't sleep in the sack. Sheep should sleep in the shed. Number 4. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper coffee pot. I might be off my dot, but I want a cup of coffee from a proper coffee pot. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in proper coffee pot. I might be off my dot, but I want a cup of coffee from a proper coffee pot. All I want is a proper cup of coffee made in a proper coffee pot. I might be off my dot, but I want a cup of coffee from a proper coffee pot. Number 5. Amazed and mist and coldest frost, with shoulders raised and loaded bows, he thrust his feet against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Amid the mist and coldest frost, with shoulders raised and loaded bows, he thrusts his feet against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Amidst the mist and coldest frost, with shoulders raised and loaded bows, he thrusts his feet against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Thank you for your attention and thank you for your time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.